Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pick and Roll live stream on the Board YouTube channel, which is the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. And we're here as we are every weekday around 11:20 a.m. Eastern time to give you NBA free picks and go through some trending discussion topics around the league. Apologies for the late start for today's stream. There was one play that moved off its line that Pips was waiting for to try and get back before we went live. That did not happen. There's one official pick ready to go, which we'll get to in a few minutes here, and hopefully another one a little bit later on the show. So stick around if you're tuning in live for potentially that one. But before we do that official pick, let's talk about the bets from yesterday. It was a winning day. It was a 2-1 day. It very easily could have been a 3-0 day. It also very easily could have been a 1-2 day. We had a lot of luck on our side in one spot. A lot of bad luck on another side. Let's just go into what happened with this one. So on the season, it's a 106-81 record, good for plus 13.2 units, just over 6% ROI. Just quickly, I mean, the Market and Franz Wagner bet, home run, absolutely no sweat. Pips, why don't you take us through how Haliburton managed to cash his side of the bet here on the same game parlay with Buddy Hield on threes?
So obviously, like as always, Buddy Hield hit his line easily. He
7-7 now. 7-7.
Yeah, he ended up scoring 5. So I was like torn between Haliburton assist and Haliburton scoring, and with the way Dinwiddie did us dirty, like last game,
yeah.
the game was just wide open for him to score, and I was like, okay, Haliburton had amazing scoring over the last couple of games, and he can do it again. And I was like thinking like the worst 3-point shooting defense. So he will probably get there with threes mostly, and he ended up the regular season time with 17 points with 0 threes. He shot 0 from 7 from 3, and he is 40% 3-point shooter. So like that's way below expectations. And then it was overtime. Jabari Smith hit crazy three for the overtime, and then in the overtime, Haliburton scored 12 points in the 5 minutes and ended up the game with 2 threes, 29 points, and 19 assists, career high 19 assists for Haliburton. Amazing game. It was a very interesting game. Both teams played well. Commander, the Pheonix did his job, and we lost again. So yeah.
Yeah, that Robinson one kind of stings. It kind of like, you felt the high of that fortunate win with Haliburton and then the low of the Robinson play. Unfortunately, we're happy about some variance going back our way on the hook counter. Unfortunately, going back the other way here, 2-6 on hooks this season.
I need to speak about this bet. So, like, he had 17. So the game started. He made a foul on the first possession, and it was clear foul, no problems. Then he had some. It was soft call. I would say like it was 50-50, but he got the call. And then the one I've sent you, that's I don't think that I don't see a foul there. That one wasn't even close. That was 100% not a foul in that situation. He didn't move the body. He just stood the ground in front of Sabonis. Sabonis bumped him in the chest, and that's it. Nothing was there, and that was third foul with 4 minutes left in the first half. So Mitchell Robinson rotation was to play 16 minutes in the first half. He left the game with 4 minutes left in the first half, so he lost 4 minutes there. And second half, he started. He got to the 17 PR in the 6 minutes of the second half, and the moment he had 17, the next possession he fouled for the fourth foul, and Tibbs decided to pull him to the bench, and he had 17 PRs in only 19 minutes of the game, and he was on the way to play 32 minutes, and he never came back. And I was so amazed. So Hartenstein didn't play well at all for me. He had some good things, but he was poor on defense. And he had 5 fouls. He was bleeding from his knee. So he had 5 fouls. not great on defense, bleeding from his knee, like his jersey was bloody and everything, and he was limping, and he had 5 fouls with 6 minutes left,
Yeah.
and he kept him the entire game. And this was the first time in the entire season that Mitchell Robinson didn't come back in the fourth quarter, and like everything went against us in this one. Unbelievable.
At
Yeah.
least the Haliburton one kind of makes me feel better because like that was so lucky. This was
I'll
obviously very unlucky and a
yeah,
very good spot to bet.
and we missed the recap last night when we were 0-2, and I will have something to say about these two losses because they were very unlucky losses. The last when we were the 0-2.
Yeah, apologies. We're not like hiding the 0-2 record. It was just I had connection
Yeah,
issues, and then Pips was like trying to improvise on the fly when I
but
crashed out of the stream.
that was also one of the luckiest losses we had on the show. It was interesting because Brandon Ingram got injured. He was on the way to clear, and Jonas Valanciunas had first foul on a tip to start the game, like first second of the game. He had a foul, and he had second foul 1 minute into the game, and he never came back in the first half. So he played 6 minutes in the entire game, and Ingram got injured. And the second game was Denver Nuggets 9-point favorite at home against the Bulls. They were 30-4 at home, and they got blown out at home by the Bulls. So Michael Porter Jr. came back in the fourth, played 30 seconds, and went out. And obviously, yeah, I'll just like last 2 days were like, okay, we got lucky with Haliburton, but we had 3 plays go other side with weird stuff. So the hook counter is way against us and all these things lately, but it is what it is. So keep going tonight and hopefully get wins.
So with that, like I said, there is going to be one official play for today.
Maybe
so far,
two, maybe
maybe
three.
two, maybe three. Okay, definitely one. We're ready to lock this one in right now. We are going to the Portland game at Philadelphia. Damian Lillard over 32.5 points, which is minus 104 at Caesars. Just checked in on that. That one is available for you at Caesars. And Pips, why don't you take us away? What do you like about Damian Lillard in this matchup?
So everything, like everything you could possibly like for Damian Lillard.
Well, that's
tonight.
great.
Yeah, only thing that I don't like for this bet is possible of blowout, but Nurkic is back, Simons is probably back, so this should be a competitive game. So the last game they played, it was 2 months, like 6-7 weeks ago. Damian had 25 points while he shot 6 from 21. And that was the game where he was guarded for like 40 minutes by Melton and Tybull. And that's difficult. And he missed like 5 layups and so many wide open threes. So the thing is, Maxi and Harden starting. So probably the worst backcourt defense in the entire league. And be it in a drop coverage, deep in the drop coverage zone, Nurkic back, like amazing screens by Nurkic. That's the only thing that he does well. So Damian Lillard coming off the screens with Embiid, he will have wide open. And if Embiid decided to get higher on the screens, Lillard will have like 10 layups and 10 free throws when he drives to the rim. Like Embiid just, if he's not coming high because he can keep up with the guards because he's a bit slow for them. So I like this matchup a lot for Damian. I think he should be able to clear this easily. He has been smashing this line over the last 2 months and seeing 32.5 with Simons being only questionable. Maybe he won't be back. But I don't think that changed much. They need Lillard to score 40 points in order to stay in the game. And I think this is the great spot for Damian Lillard. Everything goes, like every part of the game is in his favor tonight, besides the possible blowout.
Okay, so Damian Lillard, we're going with the over on the points there. Good price, -104 at Caesars. Always have to get in that Nurkic slander in there for Pips.
Yeah.
Not a fan, not a fan of his game. Okay, second pick is in now. Just give me 1 second, everybody, to get a graphic up for this. But a second play is now going to be coming in. Focus on the Minnesota Timberwolves in their game against the Nets. 1 second for me to fire this up, and we can share with you guys here. And this is also, if you've been watching the show, a pretty popular spot for Pips to go to. So let's pull it up now. Go into the Nets and the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, 25 plus points on the milestone line. Rudy Gobert over 9.5 rebounds from -115 at DraftKings.
I just didn't have time, but I've now checked, and it's -106 at FanDuel, so we'll go with that.
Okay, -106 at FanDuel. We'll adjust that there. But Pips, what do you like about this one?
The Brooklyn Nets have trouble rebounding. Over the last 15 games, they allowed the second most rebounds to opposing centers, and it's like by quite some margin. Like Memphis is the worst is Adams went down, and second worst is Brooklyn Nets. They're allowing 18.3 rebounds to opposing centers, and the league average is 14.5. So they're allowing like 4 rebounds above average to opposing bigs. And Claxton is a guy that will stand in the dunker spot, or he'll just roll to the rim, which allows Gobert to stay close to the rim, and he doesn't need to cover any shooter. So Gobert should have it pretty easy to rebound tonight. And Edwards finally, after some tough stretch, had a great game, two great games. He scored 27 against the Kings, and then he scored 32 against the 76ers. Took 20 field goal attempts for like in both games, get to the line, shot well. So I'm not like this Brooklyn Nets defense has so many issues that we didn't expect them to have. They are allowing so many points. They are one of the worst defensive teams in the league since the trade. So I like Edwards to just drive and attack one-on-one. And I mean, Wolves need to win here. Like the West is now like this is like playoff situation. Like every team in the West doesn't have any room for mistakes and for losing the games. So like I like Edwards to just they need to play their main guys full minutes, and they need them to have amazing games. Timberwolves are now only 2 wins from the 11th seed Jazz. So like you lose one game, you drop to the 10th place. You lose 2 games, you can drop to the like 12th or 11th spot, so outside the play-in. So this is like for the next one over the next month, everyone should like be totally zoned in, focus, and playing their best players full minutes. Like, and if Gobert gets 30 plus minutes, he should be able to cover this easily. And I could expect even 40 minutes from Anthony Edwards in this game, like 36 to 40 minutes if the game stays close.
Good spot here. I mean, you had it at -115, even better, -106 at FanDuel. You can go grab that one. So I guess that one is playable up to the -115 where you liked it originally. There is hopefully another play coming in a little bit later on. It depends on the lines are taken down because of a player that's questionable in the game. But I hope maybe one more official bet coming a little bit later on. So stay tuned for that. While we wait, we want to discuss the Kevin Durant injury, something we wanted to discuss yesterday, but we are going to go into it today because we went quite long yesterday. So we have some more information, so I think it's a little bit better that we did end up waiting for this one. But Kevin Durant, there was concern he would miss the rest of the regular season and even the start of the playoffs. But now, with the swelling having gone down in Kevin Durant's ankle, it's going to be 2 weeks before he's reevaluated. But there is optimism. It doesn't say it here, but there is optimism from the Pheonix Suns that he will return shortly after that 2-week period. So that will see him back before the end of the month, let alone the rest of the regular season here. But as things have shifted with the Pheonix Suns, obviously not having Kevin Durant here, some of the lines that have shifted quite heavily from a betting perspective have gone towards the Sacramento Kings now to win the Pacific Division. They're 2.5 games up on the Pheonix Suns. There's about 15 games left in the NBA season. The Kings are now minus 160 at DraftKings to win the Pacific Division. So first of all, let's talk about how the Pheonix Suns are going to handle this specific injury. What do you see, Pips? What do you see the Suns doing to combat this for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks here?
So I'll just look at the Suns are playing the Kings twice till the end of the season. So that matchup will probably decide who will be in the second spot. But so over the next 2 weeks, Suns are playing Kings away against the Warriors, against the Bucks, against the Magic, Thunders, and Lakers, and then Kings and 76ers. That's difficult. That's over the next. Yeah, that's like there is not one easy game in that. Like the easiest game is probably against the Thunder, and that's not an easy game at all. So yeah, they don't have an easy schedule. So that's not great for them. And if you take a look at the Kings, they're playing Bucks, Bulls, Nets, Wizards, Jazz, Celtics. So also not great. So it will be interesting. I think both teams maybe even over the next 2 weeks could be in negative records. So maybe some other team could join up top. But yeah, I don't know. Like so I'm not worried about KD missing the games in the regular season. Then Booker will score 50 every night. So that there is that. Ayton we get back a few more touches and that's it. Like they have like still have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. So I don't think there will be much problems to finish out the regular season. But catching up on the 2 wins spread with they are 2.5 games down to Kings because they have one extra game.
Yeah.
So that will be like interesting. That will be interesting. Like we could see like tie, like one game decide who wins it.
Yeah. And so I have the strength of schedule up actually, which will factor in. So Phoenix 16 games left, third most difficult schedule. Kings 17 games left, seventh most difficult schedule. So neither have a real easy run here.
Yeah, that's similar. So like losing KD is probably like will make effect on it, but still, I think Phoenix Suns are more than capable of winning till the end. But 2.5 is a huge spread with like how many games are left.
And the way the Kings have been playing, I think they've won.
Games. Is it 17 games?
Yeah, Kings have won 7 of their last 8, so they're also on a roll right now. They are playing.
Yeah, they played great last night. They were great against the Knicks on the road. Like winning on the Knicks on the road with them playing so well, not an easy thing. Like they played great. Sabonis was unbelievable.
Yeah, this it's an interesting place to be. I'll tell you why I'm a little bit concerned about the Phoenix Suns here, because we spoke about it. What was it, on Monday? We talked about Phoenix really need to figure out their rotations and minutes, and they're on very short time here to try and figure out everything. Now, obviously, with KD, Booker, like talented players like that, sometimes it figures itself out. But finding the best way to maximize these players was a very important thing for the last 20 or so games. And there's going to be a real gap now where they have time to figure out what the best lineups are, what the best minutes distribution is. So I think this does have a bit of an effect on the Phoenix Suns and their ability to win a championship. Now, again, going back to the fact that, with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, players that are this good, maybe that's not going to be as big of a factor. But I think a bit of value should have been taken off of the Phoenix NBA champion future, or a bit of the odds. It should have decreased a bit, but it hasn't. That would almost make me want to kind of play a different Western Conference team to come out of the West. I just can't really find a good spot to attack this. But Are you worried at all about Phoenix and their minutes distribution and the things that they wanted to figure out everything for the rest of the season with Kevin Durant joining the team?
I don't think they need that many games to figure it out. Like they are professionals and they have a great coach, and I think they can figure it out. But in like they need to say like they need 5 games, and I think for sure that KD will be back. If he is back in like 2 weeks or like 2.5 weeks, they'll still have like 6 to 7 games left to figure it out before the playoffs. So that should be more than enough with the 3 games they already played together. So I think there will be no problems with setting out the rotations, the good rotation. Like they will have time, but then we hopefully KD gets to 100% before the playoff starts, because there is no easy matchup in the West for the playoffs. Like
No.
you don't for first round will be the battle. Like no one will have like 4 week like sweep in the first round. I just can't see it. Maybe not even 4 once. Like you never know. But there is no team that you can say like, okay, this team is winning in 5. Like that's not this year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I'm kind of looking to saying I don't think there's any hypothetical matchup where I could see where I'd predict something to finish in 4. Like it's just that competitive in the West this season. It's great for a fan. Like the parity in the league is the best I have ever seen in my life. There's people much older than me are saying the parity is the best they've ever seen in their life. So it's really great to see. And we've been talking for a while about how excited we are for the playoffs. We're questioning if any team in the West can stack up with the elite in the East, because you've said the top 3 teams in the East would all win the West. But we'll see how that all plays out as it comes to the NBA final. But that's all on that topic. I don't think any lines have been added back in for.
I'll check again.
Maybe you can just provide some leans to people if the game does come back on the board. So the interest was in the Cavaliers Heat game, but Darius Garland is questionable. So
Yeah, and
no lines up for that.
The way games will open up, I think, at a different. Like I was on the Heat money line in Butler, 18 plus points. So I expect very tough game at home for the Cavaliers. At away have problems, and Heat at home playing way better. So I expect a tough game. With I think I had Butler 18 plus points with 8.5 spread for plus 8.5 spread from Miami at home. I think that should be like easy to cover. And yeah, but that shifted. Like it was like even game. Now it's a 2.5 favorites for Heat, with Garland being questionable. So I think that's big. There like I don't know, like this is now with Garland questionable, change a bit of everything for the game.
Okay.
I think also we bet Damian Lillard, but Joel Embiid looks amazing tonight, and Harden assists look amazing tonight, and then both combined look amazing. But I don't like having 2 bets on the game that I think has high probability for a blowout. So that there is that. So I would say like for the best bet of the day for me is Lillard, but second best could probably be Embiid and Harden. But betting these 2 on the same game, that's high probability. 2 overs on 3 overs on a same game, that has high probability of a blowout.
9-point spread.
Yeah, that's I just made a comment on the I was speaking about a lot about this, that small favorites are getting blown out more than the big underdogs. Like I still didn't like go back to data and look it, but I see it every day. Like last night, Golden State Warriors were favorites. They got blown out. Day before, Denver Nuggets were 8-point favorite. They got blown out. So I'll say like favorites are getting blown out more often than the underdogs. Like we see games like teams have like 14, 15, 13 point spread, and then they end up being close game. Last night, Bucks and Nets. So Nets were without everyone, Mikal Bridges and Claxton
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Mikal Bridges and Finney Smith were playing only first quarter. So like bench of the bench was playing for the Nets, and it was almost like tie game with a couple minutes left.
yeah.
So I'll see when these players went out. I think the spread should be like 15 points for the Bucks, and it was a close game. So like so many times it's a close game and it's a huge spread, and like when it's like small spread, usually favorites get blown out more often than the underdogs. So it's unbelievable actually. So counting in the blowouts is probably not a great thing. Like you just can't know. Like the spread is not telling you a lot about the blowout possibility.
Yeah, of course. Always, always a challenge trying to fight through blowouts. Obviously, we've had our share of blowouts that have ruined some bets this season, going with a lot of overs on this show. But it's something that is accounted for, of course, in the price, and something that we have to expect there when it comes to
Yeah,
making
for
these
sure.
sort of bets. So that will wrap up the show. Two official picks for you guys for today. We'll recap them right here. Hopefully, take us into the weekend as winners. First of all, Damian Lillard over 32.5 points from -104 odds at Caesars as the Blazers take on the 76ers today. Even with a blowout, like Lillard's got to go off today. So hopefully, even if that is a possibility, that Lillard can still cover that. And the second pick, Nets at Timberwolves, added in a little bit later on in the show, but a same game parlay with Anthony Edwards, 25 plus points, Rudy Gobert, 10 plus rebounds, -106 at FanDuel. This is essentially a playoff game. Every game is a playoff game for these teams in the West fighting to stay in the top 6. These guys are going to be getting a ton of minutes here, going with them on the same game parlay. So that will wrap up the show. We've had a fun week of content so far. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying the show. If you have been, drop a like to show your support. Help us get into some more recommended pages. And of course, make sure you are subscribed to the Board YouTube channel for pick and roll live streams every single weekday morning for free picks, discussion, shows just like this. Help us on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Myself and Pips, we work very hard over the course of the week to bring you guys the content. We're very appreciative of your support. If you're new, we just want you guys to have the trust in us that we're going to continue to work hard for you. So get subscribed today, and hope these bets cash. We'll see you guys on Monday for a brand new episode.